Hey reader fam, welcome back to my channel. We have hit the mid-year point of 2020, and that means it's time for that tag that's probably been filling up your subscription feed if you follow a lot of booktubers. And that is the mid-year book freakout tag created by Chammy and Ellie. I feel like I've had a pretty good reading year despite everything going on. I will say that I have not been keeping up with my reading goals for 2020. Those went out the window real quick. But honestly, 2020 is canceled. We don't know her. She does not exist. I'm honestly already looking forward to 2021, and I know that I need to live in the moment and not think about the future. Think about the right now. But excuse me, the right now is not all that great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the future, and you can't stop me. Nope, nope, nope. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. What's the best book you've read so far in 2020? I'm going with the first book that popped into my mind. It just was like, pop, there it is. I had a That's So Raven moment when I read off the question. It's gonna be Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. The story has a focus on video games, and we're coming at it from two different angles. We follow Divya, who is a major popular gamer, and then we have Aaron, who has dreams of becoming a video game developer. Meet Divya, meet Aaron. This cover honestly makes it look like Divya is just so done with Aaron. Like, she's had enough. She's plugging her ears. The two end up meeting right before very crucial moments take place in their lives. Divya ends up receiving a storm of online harassment, and Aaron's dreams are being crushed by the people he thought he could trust. Together, they rely on each other and help each other get through it all. It's one of those books where I read it and it latched itself onto my heart through the reading process. I finished reading it and it just completely took over my heart. I'm not sure what to do about it. How will any other book I read this year compare to this one? It deals with a lot of hard-hitting topics, like obviously it deals with online harassment. That aspect of it was pretty dang heavy. I think the topic that I related to the most came with Aaron's character. He has people that don't believe in his dreams, and he has people crushing his dreams, and I felt that. I related to that. Those are just two things that it explores. It honestly tackles a lot of things. It packs in a punch, big ol' punch-a-runo, or maybe it would be better to say that it packs in a nice book beat down. Beat down. While it packs in a lot, I never felt overwhelmed by it, and I also felt like it didn't just touch the surface, like it dug deep. It got a shovel and just went ham. Dug. It's just a book that I connected with right off the bat in how it kind of explored each and every character, and not only the main characters, like we see the side characters and they bring a lot to the table, like they're a part of this dinner party. The pacing was great, the weaving of different stories was excellent, and overall I just really enjoyed the direction the story took. It gets a big ol' A+ from me. I just set the book down so I could do that hand signal. Wow. Was it worth it? Not at all. Give it to me, I'm worth it. What's a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to get to? There's this little book that came out called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It dropped a month or so ago. It's the prequel to The Hunger Games, a trilogy that is so underrated that you've probably never heard of it, said no one ever. I've honestly done a great job of avoiding spoilers for this book, so if you spoil me in the comments, you're getting an automatic block. I haven't even read the synopsis for the book, so I don't fully know what it's all about, but what I do know is that it has some kind of focus on President Snow, and that it takes place during the 10th annual Hunger Games. That's it. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. What I have seen are the polarizing reviews for this book, which is honestly unsurprising. It's to be expected, especially with such a big boy release like this one. Some people are hardcore in their feelings, loving it, and then there are other people chucking it in the garbage, wondering what the point of it was. I'm very curious to find out which line I land on. I personally think that following the villain of the story is a nice shakeup, though I will say that, like, reading the Hunger Games, I got pretty tired of him and his awfulness, so like, is the same thing gonna happen here? Also, is this the perspective that we needed from the Hunger Games world? Mayhaps not, but I'm going in open-minded. The mind is open, and we'll see how up there processes the book. What's your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? Ooh, I know what I'm picking for this. I had another aha moment. Early Departures by Justin A. Reynolds, which comes out September 22nd. Early Departures is about two friends. We've got Jamal and Q. Q has actually died, and Jamal has been given the opportunity to bring Q back to life. But the thing is, he can only come back for 2 weeks, and then he's gotta die permanently. How sucky would that be? You die, and then you're brought back to life, but you've only got 2 weeks to live, and you've gotta die again? Like, that sucks. Jamal feels like he has unfinished business with Q because he holds the blame for the death of his parents against Q. The thing is, when they bring Q back, Q's mom is like, guys, we're not gonna tell him that he's only got 2 weeks to live. So Jamal is over here like, okay, great, so I've got to keep this big secret from him while also trying to fix our friendship before you have to die again. Like, pretty much just a sucky situation all around. Now, I'm excited about this one because it deals with death. Now, don't get it twisted. The idea of death does not excite me. I just love seeing grief explored in books. I recognize the fact that it's morbid, but the topic can be explored in so many different ways and so many different directions in a story, and I just love seeing the direction an author takes with it. I just love it so much. I'm planning to read his other book soon, which I'm pretty sure that one actually deals with death too. That book is opposite of always. I'm seeing a bit of a pattern here with his books, a pattern pattern that I'm okay with. So could this author's books be well on their way to the doors of my heart, prepping to give my heart a big old knock knock? Will they rival Don't Read the Comments and latching itself onto my heart? Stay tuned in an upcoming episode. Why is my reader life turning into a soap opera? What's your biggest book disappointment? I will say that I've enjoyed most of the books that I've read this year, which is good news for me. Will I be able to make a worst books of 2020 video? Only time will tell. How about instead of making a worst books of 2020 video, I just sit down and make a video talking about how trash 2020 has been? Anyway, if I were to pick one, it's one that I've read recently. That would be it. Wow. That book just attacked me, uncalled for, even though I am saying it's a book that I didn't enjoy, but that's The Lonesome Bodybuilder, which is a collection of short stories. It covers a lot of different things, but I'll just give you a few descriptions of some of the stories. One of the stories is we follow a woman who wants to become a bodybuilder, and that affects her relationship. Another story is about this boy who is at the bus stop one day, and then all of a sudden people all around him are just flying in the air with umbrellas, and it's like, what the heck is going on here? Then there's a story about these newlyweds, and as their relationship progresses, they begin to look identical. And there's a bunch of other different stories, but that's just kind of a taste of what you get with this collection. Now, as for why I didn't like it, I feel like this book in particular is like a prime example on books where they have really interesting concepts, but the execution is so poor. And the thing is, it has a bunch of really interesting ideas, but it either takes way too long to drive the point, or it does not in the slightest ring out the concept. I was excited going in because it's supposed to be this kind of bizarre, weird, strange book, and that's something that I love. I thrive reading those kinds of books, so going in I was like, okay, weirdo book, let's vibe together. Unfortunately, no vibing took place. It just plummeted into the depths of distaste, and I was real upset about it. It was a big ol' miss for me. But also, side note, this could very likely be a case where I am not big-brained enough to fully comprehend all of the stories, and I will take full ownership of that. I want to have the big smarts, but I only got the small smarts. Most surprising book you've read so far this year. For this one, I'm going with the manga that I read as a part of my manga book club that is currently on hiatus indefinitely. Not sure when I'll be bringing it back, if I'll be bringing it back, but that is The Promised Neverland. This manga is so twisted. I went into it thinking it was just going to be this fun, lighthearted little story. I was in fact very wrong. The story takes place at an orphanage, and at first you're just like, oh, they've got it pretty good here. Like, it's not too bad of a living situation. They've got access to education. They've got lots of good food. They get to play all day, every day. But then you learn some information, which I can't tell you what that information is because obviously I don't want to ruin the story for you if you plan on picking it up. But when you find out that information, you're like, what did I just read? Excuse me? So the reason it was surprising to me was because of how unexpected it was. Like, I was not ready for the darkness that was about to be delivered to me. Favorite debut or new to you author? I think I'd have to say this Japanese author. Now, I've only read one of their books, but it left an impact on me, a strong one, and that is the author Kigo Higashino. And the book that I read by him is The Miracles of the Namiya General Store. The book is about a group of boys that find themselves at an abandoned general store, and while they're there, they start to receive letters from people asking for advice. They don't really think much of it, but they write out a reply and then send it off. And throughout the process of giving advice and hearing these stories from different people, they figure out that they're giving advice to people in the past. We have all these different stories that just weave together through time beautifully. I freaking loved this book so much. This could also be in the category biggest surprise of the year for me in terms of books, because it was just not what I was expecting it to be, and it completely won me over. And in doing research online about the author, I learned that he dabbles in quite a few genres, and that really excites me. I love seeing when authors are kind of all over the map in terms of the genres that they write in. I love the versatility. It keeps things fresh and exciting. Keep it fresh. I'm looking forward to exploring more of his books in the upcoming years. I obviously cannot commit to the upcoming months because I have commitment issues. I'm a mood reader. I don't know if I'll be picking up more of his books this year. I would like to, but it's unlikely that it'll happen. Newest favorite character? For this, I'm going with Jesse Blackthorne from Chain of Gold. Listen, it's not because we have the same name. I just genuinely find him to be such a fascinating character. I can't help the fact that we share the same name. I honestly didn't even feel like Cassandra Clare delved into all that his character has to offer. I feel like she really only touched the surface, and there best be a full story arc there or I'm out. Not really. I'll still be here, being garbage, reading Shadowhunter books. Now that's one thing that I can fully commit to. I wish I could give more deets as to why I find him interesting, but I feel like it's spoilery and I don't want to spoil it, obviously. So just trust me when I say that he is an interesting character, and I need to know more. What's a book that made you emo? I just realized the book that I want to use for this one is in a very hard to get place, so we're gonna put an image of it right here, but that is The Conference of Birds by Ransom Riggs, book 5 in the Peculiar series. I haven't talked about this book in a video yet because I am forever behind on reviews, but it should be coming soon. But being real here, I didn't love this book despite it being a part of my alt series, the series that I will fanboy over until I'm blue in the face. It disappointed me on several different levels, but we're not talking about that right now. The thing that made me emo about the book was kind of the shift in relationships that took place, which really the seeds for that were planted in a map of days, but we kind of see more of it in this book, and it just made me real sad. That's all I'll say about it because spoilers, but wow, they're really going through it, which is causing me to go through it. Can we please find common ground so we can stop going through it and break out of this cycle? That'd be grand. What's a book that made you happy? Ooh, definitely some books that I've already talked about in this video, but I'll just go back over them. The Miracles of the Namiya General Store, it made me happy because of how pure it was. Like, it's got that really feel-good vibe going for it, and when I read it, I needed those vibes. I mean, when do you not need those feel-good vibes? I'm always needing a cup of that good stuff. Another that made me happy is Chain of Gold. Obviously, not everything that happens in this book is happy. There are plenty of dark moments and bits of sad moments, but it made me happy in that I'm familiar with the world. And I don't want to sound cheesy in saying that it feels like coming home when reading a Shadowhunter book, but I just said it, so we have entered Cheesy Boy Hour. Most beautiful book you've bought or received this year. Ooh, I feel like every book I've received from Illumicrate is just top notch. So let's just run through them, shall we? Havenfall, beautiful cover, beautiful edges. Look at that blue. Blue, baby, blue. The Sisters Grimm, look at that golden detail. Love a good moon. Also, Hello Darkness, my old friend. The simpleness of the Starless Sea edition, and yet it is so powerful. The complete upgrade that they gave the Cruel Prince, like, excuse me, you really came for blood when you dropped this edition. And this Chain of Gold edition, which is screaming autumn. Autumn! What's a book that you were hoping to read by the end of the year? I'd say one that I'm hoping to get to ASAP is The Silence of Bones by June Her. I'm actually planning to read this as a part of the Koreadathon, which is a Korean-focused readathon happening in July that's being put together by my pals Monica and Chloe. More information on that down below in the description. This is actually an optional readathon buddy read, so if you're participating in the readathon and you want to read a book with everybody participating, all you gotta do is read The Silence of Bones. It's a historical book that takes place in the 1800s in Korea, and we follow our main character, Seol. I think that's how you say her name, but our main character's name is spelled S-E-O-L, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but we follow Seol, and she is actually just about to start helping an inspector with an investigation that focuses on a potentially politically charged murder. But as she begins to work with the inspector, things take quite a bit of a turn, and that's the fact that the inspector ends up becoming the main suspect in the case. Seol must take the reins of the investigation and do all that she can to uncover the truth behind the mystery. A friend of mine read it and said that it felt like reading a historical K-drama, so naturally I need to read it, and it's gonna happen thanks to Koreadathon. That's it for the mid-year book freakout tag. I feel like I didn't freak out at all in this video. Like, I'm pretty chill, I'm pretty relaxed, not really freaking out over here. I feel like if anything, I'm more so just excited about the upcoming months of reading. It's gonna get lit, fam, with literature. I hate myself, but I'm just excited for all the books that I get to in the upcoming months, and by the end of the year, it's gonna be a good time full of reading. You guys should let me know down below in the comments some books that you were hoping to get to by the end of the year, whether it be a new title or an older title. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye. -oh.